Whoa, 2 videos in 1 week? Yeah, don't get too used to it. Tonnotonante left some suspicious comments in the last video, so I need to investigate a couple of things. First, he said there's a chest near where the Mothman was, so I have to go back to check. And there it is. But it's completely outside of my reach. There's also a very sus dude very high up on a cliff, which I also have no idea how to reach. So this is all very interesting, and I do spend the next 15 minutes trying to find a way there from the various caves, but it does lead me nowhere. So for now, I'm giving up, and I assume there's another way to get there and gain access to the rest of this area, but if I'm missing something, feel free to leave a comment. For a quick gameplay update, I have decided to try to use a different affinity for my weapons in order to try and use the incantations for weapons. And I finally have also decided to upgrade my boy Engvall specifically. But back to us. Tonno left another suspicious information in his comment. He said that the Turtle Pope has a different dialogue at night. For some reason, I remember that there would be an invasion or something here and thought he was trying to get me killed. But alas, I was mistaken, and the Pope really just had some extra dialogues. He tells me that he believes that the miracle rooted in these grounds will mend the world, and he hopes I believe so too. I have no idea what that means, but thanks, okay. No invasions though, so I can go back to exploring. Macklemore himself suggested in my comments that I go explore the lake, but I am a bitch, and in the end, I always do what I feel like doing in the moment. So I decide to explore around north and the Minor 3 first. But don't worry, I will regret this decision very soon as well, since as I start going north, I immediately am sniped by a Minotaur guy. I was convinced Minotaurs were something I'd only encounter in the underground, but apparently that's not the case. And it even feels like these surface Minotaurs are even more annoying somehow. I can't reach the one shooting arrows at me with my incantations, so instead I decide to detour on the right, and doing so I encounter one of my nemesis, the Rune Bear. I do a pretty pathetic attempt at killing him, missing, all my attacks, and get murdered pretty fast. And goddammit, I really don't like the Rune Bears. So I run back to get my runes, and just run away as the bear chases me to the end of the world. I do so little damage to him. I managed to lose him, but I am faced with a spectral knight of some sort, and I'm kind of worried because I used all my flasks to survive the bear. Luckily, my lightning incantation gets rid of him really easy, and I get into the Black Knife catacombs that were behind him. This is a catacomb full of skeletons, which are pretty easy to deal with thanks to my Sacred Blade weapon Ash, which makes them not respawn. In a side chamber, I also find an interesting axe that scales with int that I would have loved in my first playthrough. And then I move past a room with giant guillotines and end up in a basement full of crabs, which scare me less. Luckily for me, they end up killing each other and I manage to survive. Unluckily for me, there's absolutely nothing down here except a door I can't open, and it's a dead end. I don't know what it is about some of these dungeons, but it seems like they like making little puzzles to get to the end instead of, good level design. Like, this is one of the first time I have to complain about this game, because honestly, the fact that to progress in these dungeons, I have to use a guillotine as a lift just really feels like I'm doing some game abuse rather than anything cool or satisfying. Not to mention that at the end of this, I have to either discover my first ever actual invisible wall and or drop down a tiny hole in the floor, and that just feels even more dumb. But anyway, behind the invisible wall, there's a Black Knight assassin who, kills me fairly at my first attempt. I wasn't mad about that, but I was mad that there was no Stake of Marika near it. Again, for I think the first time ever, so I had to do the whole guillotine parkour again instead. And of course, I end up being impatient and getting killed before getting there even. And so that's almost 8,000 runes just gone for no reason. So I try to be patient the next time, and I decide to go in the hole first to pull the lever, you know. The problem though is that by the time I do the whole thing again and get to the secret boss, I'm out of flasks, and I really don't feel like doing the parkour again. So instead I just summon D and try to do my best with, you know, half health. And here's the fight, because it's actually pretty fun in my opinion. Let's not talk about those last 4 lightning spears, thanks. From the fight, I get an amulet and the key item Black Knife Print, which I honestly don't know what I need it for. You also might have noticed I decided to switch back to the winged sight. That's because I'm currently unconvinced about the spear. I don't dislike it, but it feels really slow. Of course, the dungeon isn't over. We have another boss to get through. This one isn't as much fun, and it's just a cemetery shade and a few skeletons. And, you know, I get Angval to help me out, and from it I get the Twin Sage Sorcerer Ashes and some Deathroot. I must remember to go give the Deathroot to the Beast Boy. I keep forgetting. So that's done. After dueling the Spirit Knight again, who drops me this sword by the way, I decide to go back to the Minotaurs, and I try a stealthier approach, repairing myself behind some columns. It's very time consuming and boring, but after anyway risking death a few times, I finally managed to kill them all, including the archers, and I'm free to explore the area, you know, past them. The first thing I encounter is a mausoleum that really likes jumping, which will never not be funny. I know there's no reason to do it, but I still decide to clean it up to make it stop jumping. And exploring around, I kill some more Minotaurs and spot an enemy below a cliff, but I can't see clearly. Unfortunately for me, it's the worst possible thing. Another rune bear. And look how little damage I do to him. Obviously, I die again. I had 11,000 runes, so I'm very paranoid making my way back, but with some stealth, I managed to go get them. The bear wakes up anyway, so I'm forced to run away crying until I'm safe. And on a cliff, I find a charm that raises robustness. And basically, I'm just doing the long way around to go north. And there's even another mausoleum roaming around, just, you know, a bunch of mausoleums. I stopped this one as well, just because I can. Then I spot some Minotaurs standing around doing their stomp dance. It's kind of cute. After killing them, I see I've arrived to the minor Erdtree, and me and Eggval get to work. Something goes severely wrong, and I get stuck alone on a rock and get killed by a stomp. This wouldn't be too bad since there's a stake of Marika, but as I get back to the fight and miscalculate my distance and die, I suddenly remember I didn't get my runes back, as they were on the side, you know, on that fucking rock. So that's 12k more runes gone. Suffice to say, I wasn't in the best mood at this point. I just blast the R3 avatar with fireballs and get some crack tears, you know, to boost elemental attacks. You know, at least from my toll and pain, I did get these sweet Minotaur horns that look absolutely awesome, in my opinion. But I can't find anything interesting around the R3, so I just decided I've suffered enough for my decisions and that it's time to go back to the lake, where karma wants me, apparently. I decided to get there from this battlefield place, where there's a bunch of soldiers fighting, you know, specters of some kind. As always, when there's a war, I just contribute with some fireballs until a spectral giant appears, and unfortunately I have to commit. But it's nothing I can't deal with some more fireballs. In the battlefields, I also find this Lucerne halberd, which is cute, but a bit too simple. Progressing on the road brings me to a ghost that is just complaining about not having received his Hogwarts letter. And I am jump scared by a bear, but it's just a small one this time. And at the literal end of the road, there is a Grace. And I also find my eyeball obsessed friend again. Unfortunately, I don't have any at the moment, besides mine, you know. And a message suggests going in a house west of here. But that's for next time. At the moment, I just want to finish perimetering this piece of land and wait a second. Is that another rune bear? Okay, it's time for my revenge. Quickly, I go buy the blessings boon from the Pope, you know, to use the runes in case I lose them again. And I upgrade my axe because I want to try to use that one again. Then I go attempt enacting my revenge. First time goes pretty bad. I get stuck on a rock again. Second time, I actually managed to win my fight, but not without risking a lot. I can't overstate how little damage I actually do to these motherfuckers. It's honestly disgusting. I guess that's my second complaint of the day. But what's important is, we made it. Praise the Elden Ring. We can consider this episode my villain backstory for my hatred of bears. We're now on a villain arc, and this is my new villain outfit. See you next time.